this mission we have codenamed Career Quest.
Have any of you guys heard from Michael yet?
No, maybe we'll hear for the day off.
For at least a few hours. If we do, what are you guys going to do after school?
I don't know, it's still a few hours away.
Do any of you guys have art tomorrow? Yes.
No, I'm getting my hair done, my nails done, and I'm going shopping.
Why do you care so much about how you look?
A girl's gotta look how she wants to look.
Yeah, whatever. Well, I'll see you guys later. Peace.
My name is Ryan Taylor,
Ryan?
and I'm from Doyle Rider, and I'm interested in being an artist.
Glad to meet you, Ryan.
My name is Xavier Ledley, and I would like to be an artist too.
Xavier, glad to meet you. My name's John. Come on in and sit down. We'll talk.
What kind of training does it take for this job?
Most artists have go to school, go to universities or art school to develop their work, learn art history, and take other subjects. So most artists are trained by going to university or going to an art school.
What is your salary like?
As an artist, my salary is whatever I make. Now, a lot of people who have an interest in art have kind of a desire to make art. So what they do is they work a job, work at teaching, doing other things to support their art in a sense. Okay. Now, some artists, I would say maybe 10% of artists that I know about or that you would meet make all of their money making artwork. And the rest make either teach or have some other line of work, and then also use the artwork as auxiliary income or as from their own interest in making art. The money, most galleries ask for 50% have a commission, and what you do is you show your work in a gallery, and then the amount of money they make off of the sale, it's usually split 50-50, and that's in a good, fairly reputable gallery. That's kind of standard for the industry. Otherwise, if you do kind of contract your own work, you can, or get commissions, or usually, it depends on what you negotiate, depending on the situation. But it's like 60-40. You want to talk brass tacks about what my paintings go for? The last commission was, I'll take the airport painting. That painting sold they bought it for $9,000, and I made $5,000. But that's kind of few and far between. Last year I made money on my paintings, but it was based on one commission. Otherwise, I've made about as much money to pay for the studio and for my supplies. So I work pretty hard just to break even on my artwork.
What's the best part of the job?
The job of being an artist? In a way, I guess it's a job that you make up for yourself. You define what your interests are, and you kind of control your own time and your own production. So it lets you, I think the best part of the job is that it lets you explore and discover and make what you want to make, which doesn't always make a lot of money, but it gives you the freedom to pursue what you're interested in.
What is the worst part of the job?
The worst part of the job? I think that it can be kind of isolating in a way, because since you are working on your own, depending on what kind of support group or what kind of environment you're living in, if there aren't a lot of people around that share your interests, it can be kind of an isolated line of work. And I think sometimes the fact that you don't know where the next money for the artwork and that is coming from can be a little stressful too. If you don't like most people like to know, have a steady income and things like that. So it's speculative and it's kind of a gamble of sorts.
How long do you have to go to school?
Since some artists, I don't know if you've ever heard of an artist named Jean Basquiat. He was a famous artist that didn't go to very much art school. And he was a graffiti artist originally, and then his work got into galleries and became rather famous and for a short while before he died kind of prematurely. But to answer your question, there's no prescribed amount of time to be an artist. You can just say you're an artist and start making work and hope that you can kind of promote your career. But most artists go to school all the way through to get what's called a terminal degree, which is kind of the equivalent of a doctorate degree in college. That degree is called a Master of Fine Arts. It's an MFA, and it's usually another semester above a graduate student. So it's about 4 years of college and then 2 years of graduate school.
How long does it take to paint a picture?
For me, it takes anywhere up to 6 months. Some people can paint a picture a day, 2 pictures a day. It depends on what kind of artwork you're making. There's not one way to paint. There's not one way to sculpt. And as you in a sense, kind of develop your own work and your own style, trying to make each progressive piece a little better.
What age did you decide that you wanted to be an artist?
I always drew. I always liked to draw. My father always painted. I don't know, does your father paint at all? Dad? You get it from your family at all? From some influence? I never really thought about it much. When I went into college, originally I went to school to be, I enrolled in fisheries and wildlife, which had to do with conservation and with forestry. And then I transferred into the art department. I took an art class and liked it. I went to Wayne State in the summer while I was working there and started drawing and just kept doing it. And ended up switching my major and graduating. So I learned in school. I was about 20 years old when I decided to become an artist. The church is downtown here. But I go in and shoot different buildings, and then some of the imagery ends up in more than one painting. I'm trying to see here. There's the Zilwaukee Bridge when it was in construction in that painting, and that was in another painting, earlier paintings too.
Do you know anybody that has ever painted modern art?
Well, I think anybody who's painting now is a modern artist. You mean abstract art or something like that? Yeah, sure. Yeah, and there may be some, I think there's some upstairs that you can see. My work has recognizable imagery in it, so it's more representational. Well, usually the paintings start with sketches and little drawings and going through and kind of editing in my head different imagery. And then I work composing, spend a lot of time playing with the different images and putting them together in a different way. I think a lot about how to make, about illusionistic space, about perspective. Do you guys know about perspective? Where you draw things to make them look like they're far away or close up, or how things relate
Just
to
like
each
that
other.
picture right there.
This picture has a ceiling that goes back into space, kind of, and it has to do with painting illusion to a certain degree. So I'm interested in workspaces, I'm interested in factory spaces, I'm interested in public spaces, buildings and architecture, and then outdoors too. It's kind of a way, painting is kind of a way of just reinforcing, experiencing the world in a way and seeing things.
Do you ever need anything for inspiration?
Oh yeah, all the time. Inspiration's good. Music, conversations, good books. You keep feeding your head information. Here are two kind of souvenir snapshots that I put together of a couple of projects. This one is of the airport, and this one is one for General Motors service parts. And sometimes I'll get commission work where people will ask for a proposal, and then I'll paint a picture for a specific site. And that's what these are for. It goes into a place, and I know where it's going. So these paintings aren't here because they're out installed, but that's just a record of kind of a souvenir, snapshots of the progress of the work. And there's always a kind of a play going on there.
And those screws in the background look kind of fire. So those are sort of like volcanoes.
Yeah. But you can see a landscape here. It's not a photograph. It's been kind of played with geometric shapes instead of organic shapes.
It looks like our
Won't just give us one with sausage triangles, equilateral, and scale angles.
Oh.
Use that.
Yeah, I could have used that. Was that in math class or in art class? In
Math.
math. Oh, okay.
Okay.
This is a rattlesnake.
Echoes.
Echoes, 43. Echoes, shaped canvas, $10,000.
That one is?
That's what he's asking for.
It's
yeah.
called Echoes.
Oh, look at the stop sign. I just saw that.
I saw you see cars and stuff.
Looks like a Jeep or something. And then here's the motorcycle
It looks
engine
like
again.
It looks like a beehive right there.
Yeah, I thought it was a rattlesnake tail. It looks like something a snake would crawl out of, doesn't it?
And that looks like a skull.
Where somebody pasted deer antlers onto, like a jackalope.
Woo! Oh, that's that one. 10,000. Grand Canyon. 1,200.
And there's a broken heart. And this is also to kind of explain to you how the gallery operates. This is a call for entries where the gallery sends these out to artists that they have addresses on, and then the artists send slides in to the gallery, and they go through them and decide who they want to exhibit and what artwork they want to show. So part of the job of the artist is to find opportunities to exhibit and show your work and get it out to the public, and hopefully sell it and hopefully kind of keep it alive. That is a painting that's in the office where Dennis Archer used to work, the mayor of Detroit. He was a lawyer. And that painting's in their one of their conference rooms. And that's the painting at the airport. Yeah, the ones you saw in the snapshots. This is,
College.
yeah, right up there. That's part of the state capitol. Right here, this is a Jesse Jackson rally that was in Saginaw a long time ago. Now, 1986 or something, when he ran for president. This is the IMA.
Sports arena.
Oh, the sports arena. Yeah. It might be the Saginaw Arena and then a power plant. I try to put different environments together, drawing. A lot of people. I would recommend keep drawing, keep sketching. Do you ever draw pictures of your friends and people sitting next to you in class and stuff like that? I used to do that. But in here I have sketches where I would go in and sketch out ideas about putting together different images. I do a lot of this stuff where I'll go in and just
At the house you just used.
doodle. Yeah, I was sketching the cabin there. This stuff like this is just shapes, putting shapes together to try to compose these different spaces. Before I had them in strips, now I'm kind of floating them around like this, so I'll try to take a photo, think of, well, this is a certain photo I have in mind, maybe it's an auto plant, and then this might be another photo here, and I'll try to get a sense just by sketching of where these things fit together and how they interrelate and how they work in the composition. And the composition being kind of how everything falls together, what you're going to put and where you're going to put it. You know, if it was a play, it'd be where you're standing on the stage. If it was a football game, it would be where you're lined up to play, deciding where to go and where to put things and what to put in and what to take out.
Did you just paint those? Did you paint those people, or did you take a picture and then paint it off that?
Yeah, I had a picture that I use. Some people can sketch from out, sit down and sketch from life, or even paint from life, use watercolors and things like that. Everything's different. You kind of develop your own process depending on what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. I take photographs and sometimes I'll put them in a computer and bend the photographs into different shapes, and then I'll use those photos to paint from, to refer to. But I usually paint where I've been, so the photographs are used to kind of keep a memory of where it was.
Thank
Gotta
you
go.
for showing us around your gallery.
Okay, Ryan.
Telling us about your art.
Well, you're quite welcome. Nice meeting you. Good luck in your careers.
Okay.
Xavier,
Thank you for letting us come here, Mom.
you have to take off. Okay, bye-bye.
While you guys are gone, I synthesized some quantum paint. If we spray this on Vexor, he will be trapped in the second and third dimension. And here's some in this bottle. Way cool.
How does this stuff work?
It has hydrochemicals that create an electrostatic field.
So you're saying if we splash this stuff on Vexor, it'll trap him in the 2D world?
Computer, Vexor model.
I don't know how you did it, Alex, but you're a genius.
Yeah, but then what do we do with them?
We just trap this essence in something, and it's history.
Cool.
I don't know.
Michael says Vexor will be recruiting spies from people we know. Oh no, then Sue and James could be in trouble.
Samantha,
What?
he probably knows too much already. We could be the ones in trouble.
Oh boy.
Well, it's time for art class.
Hey, can I talk to you guys?
No way.
Then look at this instead. It's called a brain tron, and it makes your primitive mind do whatever I want. Now, next time, don't be so rude.
Yes, Vexor.
That's better. Now, I want you to find the 4 students who have just recently joined your class and bring them to that empty room at the end of the hall. Got it?
You'll get them, Vexor.
Good. Now go!
Well, James and Sue seem to be okay.
Well, this is the room.
It seems a little odd, but why would they want us to get books here?
Well, let's go in.
How do we know there isn't anybody waiting for us in there?
We just have to take a chance.
It's dark in here.
I'll turn on the light. Do you guys hear something?
No.
Well, I heard something.
What?
I heard it too. Victor!
In the flesh. 39 years ago, you imprisoned me. But now, I am free to get my revenge.
Computer, energize! Computer, energize! Hey, Dexter, you forgot about me. Oh, man.
You guys okay in here?
Yeah, we're fine. See you. See ya.